The Sony ZV-1 Mark II is easily becoming my favorite everyday camera. It's pretty easy to carry around, especially compared to a full frame setup like the one I got over here. The video out of this is really good. There's not really much I can do to improve on it other than a little bit of tweaking in post. Now the audio is honestly really good, but I still wanted to see if there was a mic that would make it even better. So I wanted to compare the internal mics of the Sony ZV-1 Mark II against the Sony ECM-G1, the first generation Rode VideoMicro, and the Sony ECM-W2BT. Now the ECM-W2BT is actually a wireless mic, but the receiver has a microphone built in it, so I wanted to see how it sounded as an on-camera microphone. Now in these tests, the only thing I did was adjust the audio level so that all the microphones sounded even. The Sony microphones have no adjustment on them in the camera or on the mic themselves. Technically the ECM-G1 does have audio controls if you connect it with a 3.5mm cable, but I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose of this mic because it works directly off the hot shoe with no cables needed. Now I ran 3 different tests: outdoors in a quiet environment, outdoors in a loud environment, and also indoors. Alright, I think I got everything out the way now. Let's get into these tests. This is the sound of the internal mics of the Sony ZV-1 Mark II in an outdoor, quietish environment. This is the sound of the internal mics of the Sony ZV-1 Mark II behind the camera. This is the sound of the Sony ECM-G1. These bugs are chewing me up, so I'm hoping this video is useful to you. God damn it. This is the Sony ECM-G1 from behind the mic. This is the sound of the Rode VideoMicro. Oh my god, these bugs are freaking... This is the Rode VideoMicro from behind the mic. This is the sound of the receiver of the ECM-W2BT. This is from behind the receiver of the Sony ECM-W2BT. This is the sound of the internal mics of the Sony ZV-1 Mark II. There's a highway behind me, so I'm actually curious on how this is going to come out. This is the internal mics of the Sony ZV-1 Mark II from behind the camera. Alright, so this is the Sony ECM-G1. Pretty loud over here. This is the Sony ECM-G1 from behind the mic. This is the sound of the first generation Rode VideoMicro. There is sweat getting in my eyes. Oh god. This is the audio from behind the Rode VideoMicro. This is the receiver of the Sony ECM-W2BT. I'm ready to go in the shade. This is hot out here. This is the sound from behind the receiver of the ECM-W2BT. This is the sound of the internal mics of the Sony ZV-1 Mark II indoors. This is the sound from behind the Sony ZV-1 Mark II. This is the sound of the Sony ECM-G1 on the Sony ZV-1 Mark II. This is the Sony ECM-G1 from behind the mic. This is the sound for the first generation Rode VideoMicro. There's no bugs here. This is from behind the first generation Rode VideoMicro. This is the sound of the receiver of the ECM-W2BT. This is from behind the receiver of the Sony ECM-W2BT. So what'd you think? To me, I feel like the ECM-G1 did the best when I was in front of the microphone, and when I was behind the microphone, I feel like the receiver of the ECM-W2BT did the best. But overall, I feel like the internal mics of the Sony ZV-1 Mark II is the best option, honestly. Now I'm still going to carry the ECM-G1 with me when I bring this camera around because this thing is really small anyways and doesn't take up any space. But I feel like most of the time I'm just going to be shooting with the internal mics with this thing. Alright, well now, I need to go find some ointment to deal with these bug bites. See ya.